What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000, and we hope you guys can help us get there. Alright, so this is our Season 3, Episode 6 review of Mayans M.C. Sorry if I missed last week. I was on vacation, so I'm just going to pick it up right from Episode 6. Of course, we all know what the Episode 5 cliffhanger was, Easy being shot. I don't think it was as compelling as what they maybe wanted it to be, simply because we knew that Easy was not going to die. Probably the most shocking part about it was that it was a Stockton Mayan that actually was the one that shot him. I mean, if there's anything that's shocking, it would be that. This season is getting crazy. I mean, when we were getting previews, I was thinking, all right, we're going to get a Mayans versus Sons of Anarchy, shootout, basically. That has not been the case. In fact, that's been the furthest thing from the case. This is Mayan on Mayan blood that is going on right here. And it is not just entertaining television, but I mean, it's compelling television. You want something that really shocks you and keeps you tuned into the show. It's definitely this. I was not expecting it to be as brutal as what it's got, but when you've got Stockton Mayans basically going in there and dealing out hits against somebody like Easy, that's saying something. That said, I do have to say one thing about it. If you were, the head of the Stockton Mayans, and you were going to put out a hit on anybody, I mean, why Easy? I mean, why would you pick a new recruit to be the one that you target? If you're going to target anybody, why would you not target Bishop? That to me would have made more sense. Maybe they thought, well, we're not going to target Bishop because if we targeted Bishop, then yes, we would have an all-out war. But I mean, if you're going to target any other charter and members of any other charter, you got to expect a war anyway. So if you're going to completely start this war, why not just go for the head of the charter and take him out instead of going for basically the lowest person on the rung? So I mean, yes, for television reasons I understand why they did it, but for logical reasons I found it quite confusing. This episode, I just want to start off, this episode was amazing. Yeah, it did have some moments like that confused me. But overall, I mean, I thought it was just remarkable at how well this season is turning out. Started off really slow, and I was really concerned about it. But now, man, it's picking up, and it is picking up with a force. And it is becoming a force of nature. This show is. This show is starting to remind me of what the early seasons of SOA felt like. I mean, and I say that as a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy. Mayans this season is reaching Sons of Anarchy level. And if you've watched any of our videos on SOA or Mayans, you know that me and my co-host here on Rants, Lance, disagree mightily about it. He thinks Mayans is a superior show to SOA. I think polar opposite. I've always felt like Mayans was maybe a slightly more generic version of SOA. My mindset's changing this season. I'm really excited about this because this is getting to a level of, oh man, I cannot wait for the next episode to happen. I haven't felt like that in a very, very long time. In fact, I've never felt that way really about Mayans in general. So I mean, that's saying something when I'm saying that this is reaching SOA potential right now. Um, Even though, yes, you can, what I said about them taking out the lowest rung on the totem pole, I kind of feel like that was kind of a cheesy, dumb move. But at the end of the day, you know what? I can let that pass. It was still entertaining. Uh, as far as Easy and this episode, um, Bishop told Easy to keep, to get out of town, just in case that they try to hit him again. Which, again, for what reason would they go after Easy? I don't really know. Um, Not unless they're like, oh well, he's the brains of the operation. But then that speaks very ill of Bishop. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I kind of felt like that was kind of dumb. I kind of felt like if there was anything that should have been done in that moment was Bishop be like, okay, you know what? Calling in on the guns. We're gonna take out, these different charters that are the Stockton charter that that come after us. I thought that was going to be the way he was going to handle it, but instead he was like, you know what? Hold off a second. I need Angel to cool down. I need uh, I need Easy to get out of town. Uh, I felt like Angel kind of put himself in a really bad predicament because now that he went and at the end, spoiler alert, goes and kills these Stockton Mayans for targeting Easy. Uh, he's already said that that they weren't gonna leave that hospital alive. So at the end of the day, I'm kind of like, okay, that is he's going to be implicated in these murders without a doubt. Yes, it's going to be Mayans on Mayans, but at the end of the day, Angel is going uh, from a from a criminal standpoint. He's already been on record threatening to kill them, saying that they weren't going to leave. So it wouldn't shock me if by the end of this season he finds himself in prison in some form or fashion, arrested anyway, because he's already on record saying that they were going to die. Now, as far as the whole them being at the hospital, I personally thought um, that was a little bit silly. That you're going to send out a hit. You're going to send out a hit. Um, you've got all of the uh, Santo Padre Santo Padre Mayans there for Easy, but you're only going to send one Stockton Mayan to come down there and protect Flacco, which that made no sense to me. I'm like, if you're going to actually start a war where that you're going to go target these other Mayans, why would you not send more people to go down there to protect him? That to me that made no sense at all to me. I'll tell you another thing that made really no sense to me is I don't really know where Alvarez is coming out with this. I did not know how he was able to convince Nestor to go down there and protect Flacco. I didn't. That baffled me, because Nestor is all about Galindo cartel. He is all about them. He is, this whole thing with Mayans. That's not his thing. So it shocked me that Alvarez now has um, basically, I guess, the friendship with Nestor, or maybe convinced him that it's in Galindo's best interest for there not to be a war between the Mayans. I don't know exactly what it was, but whatever it was, he didn't talk to Galindo about it. He asked Nestor personally to do this favor for him, and Nestor complied. Though, let's face it, Nestor did a most piss poor job in protecting I've ever seen in my entire life on any show. Like, he's like, oh, there's some Mayans behind us and they're going after these guys. Let's pull back and let them just, kill these guys. And then, we'll explain to Alvarez that, hey, yeah, we were there, sent there to protect him, but we just kind of let him die. Let him die. Like, that made no sense to me. Um, but again, Alvarez, this episode, the way that Alvarez and Bishop kind of butted heads, I thought was really cool. Um, Bishop's getting some balls on him. Bishop is starting to show that, hey, you know what? You might be the godfather. You might be the person that started Mayans, but you're not a Mayan anymore. So you need to back off. We're not going to have any talks. I'm going to tell you how it is and what I'm going to try to do best for Santo Padre Charter. And that's that. Period. So I like that Bishop stood up to Alvarez. I hated that Alvarez tried to bring up this thing with his kid again, with Bishop's kid. Um, to me, I guess it normalizes Bishop. It this whole thing about his kid being killed for him coming to San Padre. I don't know who exactly killed his kid, but apparently he blames Alvarez for it, which kind of come out of nowhere to me, simply because he's shown a reverence to Alvarez in the past, and now it's just like, you know what? Hey, this is my kid's death date, and now I'm going to be pissed at you. That kind of shocked me a little bit at how confrontational he's got towards Alvarez. When the past couple seasons he's shown nothing but respect for Alvarez. But maybe I guess he thinks, you know what? Alvarez doesn't have his back. Alvarez maybe never had his back. And I think maybe that's a realization that he's coming to. But if there was somebody that was a standout star in this episode, it was definitely Bishop. Bishop had those moments where, whether it was with his wife or whether it was with Alvarez, Angel, Easy, whoever, Bishop stood out. Bishop, he showed that, hey, you know what? He's broken because he's a father who lost his son because of his own fault. He's still in this confrontation with his wife, who both seem to have broke up, I guess, from the death of their child, and who hold animosity towards each other about this death of the child. Um, you know, Bishop. I'm not going to say what Bishop did when it come to saying what he said to his ex-wife was right. That's not right, what he said. But I kind of understand where he's coming from. You know, let's say you go to your child's grave and your ex-wife is there. And you think, okay, you know what? We might have had our differences. We might have broke up. But if there's one thing that we can come together on, it's our child, whether it's alive or dead. Um, and then she goes and then she brings out those papers where she's like, oh, well, basically, I knew you were going to be there. And I want you to sign these papers over for the house so that we can move and go to Scottsdale or wherever the heck that was. Um, I would have been, if I was him, I'd have been pretty pissed too. I would have been, you know what? We're having this moment here. We're having this moment where I am literally telling you that my world has crashed down. I'm pissed because the world didn't fall apart when I lost my child, and he's wanting her to kind of feel and understand that pain, and she's basically at that moment just straight up telling him, you know what? Yeah, I did fall apart for a little bit, but I'm basically trying to move on, and he's not there. He's not there, and he might never be there. And it pisses him off that she's wanting to move on while he's still living in this regret, and he's not understanding where she's coming from. So, I mean, to a certain extent, I will say, you know what? If I was in that predicament that Bishop was in, and we're mourning, I'm still mourning over my child, and I just, went to his gravesite on the day that he died, or on his birthday, or whatever that day was. Um, I would have I would have been pretty pissed if somebody would have my ex-wife would have pulled out some papers showing that, hey, you know what? I'm trying to move on now. I just need you to sign these papers. I would have thrown them back in her face and been like, I ain't signing nothing. Not on this day. So I mean, I kind of understand why he blew up. What he said to her about it should have been you, instead of their son, was cold. But you know what? At the end of the day, a part of me says what he did wrong. What he said was wrong, but I don't blame him for saying what he said. I feel like he's been pretty consistent and pretty much on the right side when it comes to that. That's at least just my opinion. But going back to Easy, I kind of feel like Easy and Gabi are Easy has been one of my least favorite characters on this show. He has been one of my least favorite, simply because I just felt like he was a generic Jax, in every single way. Even with the whole Emily thing resembling that of Tara and Jax, I just felt like he was just a waste of a character. Bring Gabi into the picture. Changes the whole narrative on Easy in my eyes. Gabi makes Easy a likable, really a dependable character in this show, of where he's consistently good when she is in the picture. Um, Even kind of makes Easy and Angel's father more likable with Gabi being in the picture. Gabi is an important character in my eyes because she makes those three, Angel, Easy, and their father, Felipe, I think is his name, make them more interesting of characters. Something that really I felt like all three of them kind of needed. And even though, yes, she might not play a big role when it comes to Angel, but I think she kind of does to a certain extent because, even when he goes, when they're in the hospital scene and he goes and he thanks her, that's showing that, hey, you know what? He's understanding just how important she is. That this is the woman that basically saved his brother, and that's a certain level of respect that he's never shown to hardly anyone throughout this show. So I mean, I think their relationship, Easy and Gabi's relationship is one of the highlights of this season. Um, Bringing Emily into the picture, that whole scene with Emily was so out of place. I wish they hadn't even had it. I just, Emily is one of those characters that I just wish would just go away and stay away. Like, her and Easy don't feel compatible. And I get it, that was his love interest in season 1 and 2, but it needs to just completely fade away. Keep Gabi, get rid of Emily. Um, and you know what? Maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe we're seeing an Emily that is realizing that, hey, Easy's moved on. You might not have moved on, but Easy has moved on. So maybe that'll set her more on trying to maybe fix her relationship with her husband, which, of course, Galindo, who up to this point really hasn't showed any balls about anything. Now he's actually showing some balls with things. Now he might be the cartel leader that maybe even Emily and some of these others have expected him to be. Maybe he will get his ducks in line as well. Whether it be at home or whether it be with his cartel, him threatening Paloma basically and telling her, I'm still in charge of this. So like if whatever deal you've made with any other cartel or gang, you know what? It's not gonna fly here. You're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna go down with them if you're in bed with them, basically. I was kind of glad to actually see that Galindo take shape, and I hope maybe he'll work things out with Emily, simply to get Emily out of the picture with Easy. That's all I'm hoping for at this stage, is for him to do that. Um, Now, as far as Coco is concerned, um, I don't like this meth mountain drug camp thing that they've got going on. This Isaac that they've got blackmailing him. All of this just seems like Juice 2.0. That's the way it feels. It feels like it's going to go down the exact same route once Mayans learns that he stole heroin from him. I mean, there's no going back from it. There's just no going back. If he stole heroin, maybe to, for some noble cause, it might be a little different. But you stealing heroin, um, because somebody is trying to blackmail you over your drug addiction, I don't see that flying with Bishop or any of them. They're going to kill him. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Coco is going to die for this. And that kind of upsets me because I didn't want that fate for Coco. I felt like he was a really interesting character. I love the dynamic that he had with him and his daughter. And that is just being completely thrown out the window with this whole drug addiction thing. Um, I mean, these people, it's just like a bunch of hippies just going around, and he's like trying to protect this woman that basically helped blackmail him. So I'm kind of like, you know what? If I was Coco, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not doing anything for you. I'd kill that. If I was him, I'd have killed that Isaac and moved on from there. But either way, I feel like he's done for. One way or the other, they're going to blackmail him and they're going to out him to Mayan. So, you know what? I feel like it was a waste of a character. Coco's been really instrumental the first two seasons, so I'm a little bit disappointed that this is probably going to be his last season on Mayans. Um, as far as Adelita is concerned, this mini story was pointless. Don't care about it. Uh, Not really starting to really not become a big fan of Adelita in a lot of different ways. I don't know what she has planned. I know it seems like on the outside that she really cares for Minnie, but it seems like, when she's talking to that Minnie and she's like, you know what? She gets her back from that little camp where they're getting high off, spray cans or whatever. Um, when she basically says there, basically, I need you, get ready and all this other kind of stuff. She feels more to me, or feels less like a mother figure to that Minnie, and more like someone who needs dependable soldiers. And she uses children basically for those means. I just don't like that at all about her. Um, but overall, I mean, this episode uh, was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good. Like I said, I didn't really enjoy the Adelita mini part of it. Um, I'm disappointed that Coco looks like maybe he's getting to the end of his road. I'm glad that Galindo finally has shown some guts when it comes to these other cartels that are moving in on him. Maybe, he can get things straight and be the cartel leader that really Mayans has been needing for a very, very long time. As far as we didn't get to see very much of the Angel Adelita storyline, so that was kind of from last episode. Um, but um, but overall, I just felt like this episode was. I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, I felt like it was that good. Yes, it did have those some moments. Tell you one moment that just from the very beginning that just like stuck with me, and it was something so silly, but to me it was like it it was just lame. Where Easy and Gabi are going into the hospital, and there's that guy that's the nurse, and he's like, "Oh, I got you uh, a wheelchair here. I know you've just bled out a gallon of blood, but I've got this wheelchair, and I'm gonna slowly roll you in the back like you got the flu." And I'm like, "What is that?" Like for some reason, that one scene just like almost blew up that whole episode for me because I'm like, what is that? Like you're not rushing him back there. You're just like going slowly walking there. By the time he got to get help, I'm surprised he didn't bleed to death. And then the idea that he's like, oh well, yeah, I bled out a gallon of blood, but you know what? I'm just gonna get up and like have this like little road trip with Gabi. Um, I thought the road trip was kind of lame. I don't really understand exactly where it was supposed to go, except for that it was supposed to connect Gabi and Easy more. But overall, I mean, I thought that was maybe a weak point in this episode. Um, Basically, I mean, this episode was all about Bishop, and this episode was all about the internal fight that's going to go on between Santa Padre Mayans and the Stockton Mayans, and I am super excited to see what the outcome of this is going to be. I think we all know who's going to probably win in the end, but it's going to be fun to see if Alvarez gets involved any further, and if, hey, you know what, Alvarez is just like, you know what, Bishop, you're crossing a line. I'm going to get back in charge of this. I mean, who knows? I don't see Alvarez allowing Bishop to survive after Bishop misused his trust like that. I mean, Alvarez is the same guy that killed his own son for blowing a hit. So, I mean, we're talking about a pretty hardcore guy here. One that loyalty means everything to. I mean, he warned Easy in season one about this, and it would not shock me if he tries to put out a hit on Bishop as well in later on this season. So we'll just have to see. But overall, I mean, I would definitely give this episode a 8.5 out of 10. Great episode all around. Cannot wait until next week. But guys, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Did y'all enjoy this episode? Did you love it? Hate it? Let me know. Let's talk about it. As always, guys, thanks for watching.